Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about Marvel's Agents of S.h.i.e.l.d. Season 4, Episode 11. It's called Wake Up. Full spoilers for the episode as always. My. I actually really liked how this one started.
Me too, or just the big bold 5 days ago.
It's the music cue though, the boom, is it?
Yeah,
hits the screen, just makes you feel important, and
it also made me realize just how condensed this story is.
yeah, because I was like, that felt like more than 5 days, but okay.
I was like, oh wait, that was because it was started 5 days ago, and I just thought it'd be something that we hadn't seen yet.
I was like, wait a minute, this is a scene we did see. This is how she got captured. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, huh, that was only 5 days ago.
Well, I think it's because that episode specifically aired before Christmas, so it feels extra weird.
Yeah.
So it feels extra long. It feels like, holy crap, that felt like ages ago, but that's because it was in real time.
Yeah.
But that stuff was fun. They dropped another couple of cool twists on us in this episode.
They really did.
So they set up this idea that May... And I feel like I really should have seen this one coming more than I did. But they set up the idea that May needed to fight and not a happy... Because we see the tranquility thing that she's got going. Yeah. She's in the spa, and she's like, no, this isn't right. I
really liked how it showed us this, though.
That was cool.
Sets up why you should know what's coming.
It is, and then we see her like escape, and she has that pretty cool fight, and it seems like she's kind of holding her own, although Ada's still clearly stronger.
I really like how it's shot, though. There's some great cuts. Usually, I think it's really awkward when there's cuts in fights, but there was a couple where it's like the cut made it much more effective than normal.
It always should. It doesn't. Obviously, it doesn't usually, but it should.
Yeah, it should, but it's rare that I find that it happens, at least in TV.
Yeah. So we cut back to her a few times, and there was some cool synthy evil robot music in the soundtrack playing.
It was reminding me very much. It was like a continuation of the stuff we got with Ada attacking the base.
Yeah. It was some of that stuff, and there was like evil killer robots coming after you, mate. You got to do what you can. And then of course she kicks her off the balcony, and she goes into like digital Matrix-esque edge of the world.
Oh shit!
And then Ada just appears behind her, and May realizes what's going on. She's like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah.
Oh crap! That's so good. And that still wasn't working because she sets up the idea that May's getting better and will eventually break out of this.
Yeah, like they can't keep up because she's just too good.
Yeah, but the tag at the end is like Radcliffe finally figured out what the perfect thing to do was, and we see what it is. She's once again in like the scene we saw in the flashback, the reason why she's called the Cavalry, which is the whole incident with the girl with powers.
Bahrain.
Sorry?
Bahrain.
Oh, that's where she was, yeah. And she... Obviously that was a big deal for her because she had to kill the girl to save everyone. That was the thing.
And we had a whole thing, I think it was last season, where we had early last season maybe with the whole arc where it was about the reason she never had kids was because of this.
Yeah. We got the flashback in season 2, and then we got that arc in season 3, or maybe in the same time. I can't remember. It's been a while, but we got a full episode that showed us this whole story, and we got those scenes again. But it twisted at the end where she calls Xandra on the phone, and she's like, "I did it. I saved the girl," and it's like giving her a happy ending, and that's what Radcliffe means when she's trying to fight a fight that she's already lost.
It's one of those things where like we saw what that effect had on her in real life. Like we saw what she became, and it's now like, oh, so now this memory's changed there. Will it continue through with these changes and keep her occupied because it'll be new now, like entirely new, but will build off what she's thinking?
Oh, I think she'll just be extra pissed. All I could think about in this episode is when it's revealed she's still in like a dream or whatever. I was like, man, she's really going to be pissed. And then when this showed this, and I'm like, they're making her relive this. She's going to be pissed. But then it twisted at the end, and it was, oh no, they flipped the ending so that it's the happy version of the ending. And then I was thinking, oh, when she wakes up and she remembers this, she's going to be super pissed. May's going to kill the planet.
But that's what I'm thinking. I'm wondering, does it go to the next bit where now in this simulation, does she go and have kids? Because
in the world.
That was the whole thing. Yeah.
All right, okay, maybe.
So then when she wakes up, she's going to remember this life that never happened.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to go that way, but I kind of hope it does.
Part of me thinks it'll just reset anyway, but then maybe the only reason it reset before is because she was winning.
Yeah, I think it was.
Whereas
she kept beating it and they couldn't do any more. So
yeah,
it's like, right, well, I'll just send it back to the start.
Whereas now it might go deeper into the delusion.
Yeah.
But it depends though, because they said they had to manually keep coding more. So that makes me think that it wouldn't just keep going because...
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, so maybe not.
Yeah.
But on that subject though, Joe, it's funny. I know we compare things to Buffy a lot, right? But
you compare things to Buffy a lot.
But l.m.d. May reminds me a lot of the Buffy bot, and if you've seen Buffy, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It reminds me a lot of that, and the way she like comes over and she's like, she talks to Fitz a little bit as well, but it all culminates when she comes to see Radcliffe, and she tries to hit him and she can't. It's just in her system. She doesn't want to hit him. That's how he's like programmed it. It's like, it's not that she can't do something. It's that the need or the want to do it will be missing, and she'll want to do something else. And he's also planted the idea that she will have a romantic interest in Coulson, which may or may not be seeding in real things, because even Yo-Yo was saying that she spotted stuff, but then is she just spotting stuff with the new l.m.d. May in the last week?
Well, this is I don't think so, because obviously they take the neural scans, and it's like, this is clearly May. It's all her memories. It's
True.
I think he says, like, oh, this is what you wanted anyway. It's just now you can do it.
But you would never let yourself have it, yeah. But
yeah. I think that's the impression I was getting.
Yeah, but Robot May has this need programmed into her, so it'll actually come to the forefront.
So it'll just push it, in that direction.
Which it will be wonderful drama. See when this all comes to a head, and Coulson maybe even falls for it and has sex with Robot May, and then real May comes back, and it's going to be super awkward because it's feelings that she really had. He's going to feel guilty because it wasn't really her, and the whole thing.
But at the same time, it kind of was her because it was still her.
It's going to be
mind
wonderfully. It's like sometimes these like TV shows force drama, and like they have these things where they force elements, and it's like, oh, now they're conflicted and they're mad at each other for.
But this is
X,
just
Y, and Z.
Perfect for it.
But this is one. Not only is it justified, it's also complex. It's not simple. It's really.
There's so many layers to it, isn't there? It's like, well, there's him, and then there's her, but then there's her again, what she was before she was an l.m.d. And it's like, oh, there's so much going on.
Yeah, it's just really, really, really good. And it's funny because there's a couple of other things in this episode where I'm thinking they're almost going to force it. Like, I'd almost thought Mac and Yo-Yo's thing where... So they're probably a couple now, we see them in bed and they're having their pillow talk and whatnot. And he gets weird because he gets a text and he goes off. And I actually called what it was. Believe it or not, I actually... Not the specifics.
I was going to say, that was a good call if he got that.
But... It was right away. I'm like, okay, it's not actually something bad, right? I knew that from right away. And then secondly, as soon as the way he like brushed her off, I was like, okay, it probably is an ex, but it's because of something really bad they went through. Probably a kid, because that just seemed like the obvious thing to jump to. Because that's usually if there's something horrific that breaks up a couple, it's usually a kid dying.
Yeah.
And as soon as he walked in at the end, and he said the name, was it Zoe? Hope. So,
Hope was the daughter's name.
Yeah, he said Hope, and I was like, oh, that's not the ex, that's the daughter. That's the person who died. And sure enough, it because I was like,
he acts the hell out of that monologue.
Oh, he does. He gives a cracking good little monologue, and it's funny because it's the one thing that would make Yo-Yo feel bad, where she's jumped the gun and she's assumed all these things. He's like, yeah, I need to tell you these things. You are my partner now, but this was a big one. I had to build up to it, and it just so happens that tomorrow's our birthday, and
and the whole time in the back of my head I'm going, is he an l.m.d?
Well, of course, this is the thing at the start, towards the start or the middle of the episode, Radcliffe has a conversation with Ada that sets up the idea that there's a second l.m.d. in play that we don't know who it is. There's someone else who's been planted that's an l.m.d.
So I was going, oh, is that why he's gone off? Like Radcliffe's sent him a mission?
Because at one point I thought it was Fitz, and I'll get to why.
No, I had that. Yeah. Same thought crossed my mind. Yeah. But that one with Mac was like, oh, maybe that's why he's gone off. Radcliffe's like sent him off on a mission. And I was like, oh, I don't know. And then it's like, and I almost hope he still is a little l.m.d. just because, for the same reason as the Coulson May thing, where it's like he'd come back and this l.m.d. version with his memories would have told Yo-Yo this thing. He would have shared this thing, but he wouldn't have shared it.
But he didn't get to. It wasn't him that actually got to share that story.
There's so much potential from this.
Yeah, they can't do it with every character though. I feel like the May Coulson's good enough. We don't need it. I
know, but it's just like I want all of it.
Because imagine if May and then Mac and then Fitz were all l.m.d.s, and like all the couples, all the potential couples, all had one half as l.m.d. Like we couldn't have it all. One of them was good enough.
I don't know. I could take two.
But yeah, so that stuff was fine, and I especially liked Yo-Yo trying to pry with Coulson, and him being like, no, I'm not getting in them, but nah, I'm not that stupid.
It's like, oh no.
I'm staying out of this. You two have got chopping mall, that's something special. You two can sort out your own problems.
Exactly.
I do love chopping mall. I'm going on a tangent here. So they use Yo-Yo to break into Settle and Deer's office, whilst Mace, Skye, and Talbot are... Skye's in this signing of the Soviet Sokovia, Soviet. I'm going back
Very
a bit
different.
there. Sokovia Accords, and they're going through this little thing, and Nadir, tries to make it look like shit, basically, as she always does, and it's like,
pretty good job of it, to be fair.
That said, though, before we get to that point, and she's trying to question Skye about all these things and the money and all the rest of it, and specifically helping the Inhumans. I actually love the speech that Skye gives about Inhumans being our friends and stuff, and then she ends it with "and brothers."
Yeah, and just gives her that look.
She gives her that look, and then the deer is just stone cold. That exchange was beautiful.
It was
layered. It was beautiful. Even the scene before that with Skye and Mace, when she's kind of pissed at Mace because he's been lying about being an Inhuman, and rightfully she's a little bit miffed at that, and he brings up this experience. Oh, you were a foster kid, and they have that. And at the start of the scene, I was like, I wasn't sure if I was going to care about this conversation, but by the end of it, I did. And I always kind of like when a scene can
turn around on it. Yeah,
turn me around. Like, it starts in a place where I'm like, I kind of get what this is going for. I don't know if I feel it, but by the end of the scene, partly because of the dialogue, but mostly because of the acting, at the end of the scene, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm getting. I
feel like it happens. We had it quite a few times just in this episode alone. Like with the Max stuff, it's like, I don't know if I want this, but then it just like, okay. All right, I'm down.
Yeah. The act their ass off. Basically, is the gist of it. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, they actually had a really good bonding moment there. And it was like I said last week, with Mace being far more interesting now as someone who was faking this whole time. Oh,
definitely. And it also, I love that it was just giving us an excuse to have Talbot back, because I love Talbot.
Oh, Talbot's fantastic. It's funny actually. We in random conversation, just we were talking about, we said, oh, yo-yo seems to be a focus in this episode, and you said there'll be a lot of yo-yoing. And Talbot said that exact phrase
I know.
in this episode, and that was really funny. What was the other thing he said? A steaming pail of shit pebbles, or... No, it wasn't shit, because I didn't say shit.
No, it was like...
steaming pail of poo pebbles, or something like that.
Fart pebbles?
Maybe fart pebbles, but it cracked me up, whatever the line was.
Yeah. It was just it's his delivery of it, isn't it? It's just perfect.
He delivers everything with such a mark. And it's funny, because even after the scene where they catch Coulson and Yo-Yo try to plant the surveillance stuff, and Mace and Talbot play nice with the officials and stuff, and they come back and they talk to everyone else, and they've figured out there must be a mole.
Yeah, there's a leak.
Very 24 actually, because every season of 24 had a mole. That was like a running joke. There was always a mole in the main team.
Of course there was.
And it comes out, and Coulson accuses Talbot. He's like, "Well, you were against this, this."
Yeah, you knew about all this. It's your idea.
And he accuses him, and I actually kind of like the Talbot's like, "Hey, S.h.i.e.L.D. wouldn't be around now if it wasn't for me, and we don't see eye to eye, but I always believe in you, Coulson. So no, it wasn't me." And I'm like, you know what? He's right.
Yeah.
Coulson just gets slapped down.
Call him on his shit.
Yeah. As much as you're usually in the wrong, in this case you're on the right, and you have been, integrity. You've had integrity for.
Yeah, he's been a dick at times.
He's been stupid at times.
But yeah, he's always been trying to do the right thing.
But integrity, and I like that. I like that we're at a point now where we have so many of these characters. Now that idiot Lincoln's gone, who was the one weak link, everyone is layered. Everyone has multiple facets to them, and it's when, even if the plot wasn't as exciting, and I think maybe the first chunk of this season, with the Ghost Rider was cool, but his uncle and that stuff wasn't as because all the characters are this good, and because we care about them in this way. You
just don't care about the plot almost. It's I just want to watch these people interact.
The plot being good is just like a bonus on top, and which I think it's good now. I think this l.m.d. stuff's actually a lot more interesting.
I'm loving it way more than the Ghost Rider stuff.
Yeah, so, really cool. Simple most of that. And then you have, of course, Fitz and Simmons. And, again, this is a case where early on in the episode, I'm like, I don't really want him having this secret and fighting. But the funny thing is as one of the things I even said last week, I think, and I was thinking it again earlier on this one, is like, yeah, but what if he discovers what Radcliffe's up to because he's analysing the head?
Yeah.
And they basically did that, although they did it a slightly different way than what I was thinking. I thought he would just discover that. But it turns out, no, he always had a suspicion. That's why he was obsessed with trying to look into the head, was because... And it was as soon as he turned around to Simmons and said, it's an investigation, I'm like, oh!
He knows.
He's in on it. This is great.
I know.
And that's when they all storm Radcliffe, and we get that scene where Fitz comes in. You know, they've got Radcliffe in one of those cells that they've been having for the last couple of seasons, the White Rooms.
Yeah.
And Fitz comes in and he talks to him, and Radcliffe's being his usual sleazy self. I've got the best of hearts, Fitz. Where, you know, my best of intentions. Really, I just get carried away, Fitz. That's my Radcliffe impression.
It's not bad, actually.
It helps something Scottish.
It does help.
You know, Fitz, you're like a son to me, Fitz. And Fitz, and it's funny because at that point, and Fitz gets this look in his eyes. I'm like, did Fitz just realise he's an l.m.d? That's what I thought. I thought Fitz was realising that he was an l.m.d. And that's why he went to get the gun, because he was going to shoot himself.
I thought I was going as well.
Yeah, but then he shoots Radcliffe in the head. I'm like, oh yeah, that makes a bit more sense. That's easier for me to have done.
Yeah.
But
it doesn't rule out the other one.
But it's funny though. That's like three. We went through like 2 or 3 people before we got to Radcliffe, where we thought that might be the l.m.d.
Yeah.
And then they reveal at the end. They didn't drag it out for we didn't go 3 episodes with who's the l.m.d. We don't know. But so we got at the end. It made sense. It was a good moment for Fitz where he just comes in and shoots him in the head, and it's point blank, and it's.
Yeah, it's that whole line about how his first priority is always protecting life, and he's very selfish, so of course his own life is the top of that list.
Yeah, so it was a solid episode, had twists and turns. Of course, the final twisty turny is that he has went to Senator Nadir. He is now working, and it probably it's Mayor Bot or whoever who's sending back the info that's leaking it to them, and he's now in cahoots with her. And we hear again about this supervisor.
The superior.
The superior, that's the word.
Yes.
But this mystery person who's in charge of Nadir.
That feels like the big bad for the end of the last half of the season.
Yeah, I feel like they're tying in this Nadir stuff. I feel like they'll take care of Radcliffe and the l.m.d. stuff, obviously, by the end of this arc. And then we'll maybe just be introduced to the superior as the tease at the end of this.
And then it's like that's the fight for the end.
Yeah, or even the next episode. We might see them first, but it won't really be their story until after the next break, which makes a lot of sense. So that's really cool. And I wonder if we know who it is. I wonder if it's someone who we'll recognise. Like, is this someone from the past who's popping back up, or is it just someone new?
It could be either way. Look, all I'm going to say is, as long as it's not Ward. That's all I'm putting out there.
It couldn't be though. It's
I
impossible.
know, but
unless
this show has gone to extreme lengths to keep that guy around.
Unless someone has it's not the same as Wells and Flash though. Come on,
it's not.
We have legitimately had like 4 different versions of that character.
It's getting up there though.
Not quite yet, but anyway, if it is War, it would maybe only be if someone has used the Darkhold to like take him from a dimension, like the Dark Dimension or something stupid like that.
But I wouldn't put it past this show just to bring him back.
I don't think so.
But I just hope it's not. Is all I'm saying.
It'd be better than Lincoln.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, shut up. Right, you know that's right.
Well, yeah, that's not really a hard competition, is it? Most things are better than Lincoln. It was shit.
Oh my god, it's so fun having him be dead. So that's this week's S.h.i.e.L.D. Good episode,
good.
Solid.
Yeah, this was really good.
Character beats all over the place. One thing I see when they storm in to get Radcliffe at his place. I really like that. Simmons is like, don't you talk to Fitz? She says something like that. She's don't you put IDs in his head or something. Like, it was like being super protective of Fitz. It was great. Yeah,
and then you obviously have May acting conflicted that she knows she should tell them, but she doesn't want to.
Aye, because she's been programmed.
But you can see it on her face that she knows she should want to. It's again, great acting.
Layers.
Yeah.
Layers, complicated, tangled webs.
Yeah.
Makes for the most interesting character stuff. So
this is really good. This is a good night of TV.
It was Tuesday night. We give it shit for having too much, but you know what? At least when they're all good episodes, at least good night for comic book TV viewing. A lot of good comic book TV. But there you go. That's this week's S.h.i.e.L.D. We'll be back next week, of course, with the next one. Let us know what you thought of this in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of my Radcliffe impression. I'm genuinely curious. And like and subscribe and all that stuff. Get us on Twitter at @mild_fuzz. You can see our individual Twitters on the screen. That'll do it. Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you next time.